Good morning, everybody. My name is Chaylin Wong, and my research question is, what is it to be a girl? So the overview of the creator, so the overview of me, my name is Chaylin Wong. I transferred from LCC to UH West Oahu in 2020. I graduated from Kamehameha School's Kapalama campus in 2018. I am a dance instructor, and I am majoring in creative media, in communication, and new technology. So the summary of what I'm going to be going over in this presentation, it's my plans for my senior capstone project. Then I'm going to talk about my thesis statement, then the objective and rationale of the research that I conducted with my paper. And I'm going to address the significance of my proposed project with my research. So my thesis statement. All throughout history, women have been set to fit a specific standard set by society. But despite gender stereotypes, females have been able to fight for equality and power over time. So the objective or rationale for the research I conducted. The reason I chose this topic is because I have a passion for the idea that women are very underrated in our society. I believe that women are often overlooked, and even after years of progress about women's rights, there are still challenges women face just because they're women. So while I was trying to think of the topic and kind of dive into the topics and choosing one, the news about the transgender swimmer who was originally a male and then transitioned to a woman was able to compete in the women's swim competition, and he ended up she ended up winning. And so there was a lot of controversy on that because there was never really a set role or thing that defined what a woman is or what they could be. Another thing that kind of inspired this was the women's soccer team that my dad actually introduced to me, where they weren't getting paid as much as the men's soccer team. So they were creating this movement to fight for equal pay. And then in my personal life, in my personal workplace, like hearing all these different stories about how like women can't be like leaders, or they're not usually in leadership positions like that, it's kind of interesting to me just because in my own experience in the workplace, like I've always had women that were my higher ups, or I've always been around women that own businesses or like were in manager positions. So I thought it was interesting to see that like in other places, it's not like that. And the objective for my research that I created is to inspire females to make change regarding gender equality by informing them of what women have gone through and done in the past. So moving on to my capstone plans. I plan to deliver a project for my capstone. My project will be a social media page that includes short interviews with different people, posing the question, what is it to be a girl? So my interviews would kind of be around my research topic. I also want to include quotes and information and statistics from my research to inform the audience on like the research side and not just opinions from other people. And it's kind of going to be a journey for me to find out how people in my community see females and what they know about the female experience and how they feel about that question, or my research question, what is it to be a girl? Because going through my research, there was a lot of answers for it. Like I couldn't just find one answer or one example that kind of embodied the question, what is it to be a girl? So I think it'll be interesting to kind of continue my research with getting involved with the community. I believe this project will be appropriate for the research I conducted because it will demonstrate that the problem I'm addressing is still a problem, but it's also changing. There's some of the we're progressing somewhere. It's going to educate the public about gender issues and promotes women equality. And hopefully it shows a difference about views in Hawaii in comparison to other places. So because like I'll talk about later on my presentation about my target audience is people in Hawaii, and also the people that I'm going to be interviewing is mostly going to be Hawaii-based people. And then the different examples that I'm going to have. So I'll have one post that talks about what Title IX is, and then I'll have quotes from the feminists that I quote. I'll talk about the evolution of body image and like different things like that that I have in my research paper. And then for the interviews, I'll be asking different groups of people. So one example is I'll be asking mothers in one of my videos, like whoever's a mom, I'll be like, what is it to be a girl? What does it mean to be a girl, to be female? And then moving on to the significance. So significance one, equality for women is equal to the way that women are treated and viewed in society. So it's kind of dealing with where we're headed. So is there a significant change in this area of equality for women and how society views women? And our views on what a girl is the same as it was in the past. So kind of like I said, we do have progress going, but at the same time, some parts of it are still kind of stuck with past views. And although women from the past have made all that progress, again, we're still trying to progress more and more into fighting for women equality. Significance number two is to see where we're headed. So the significance one is to see how far we've come from the past to this point present, and then also I want to look at where we're headed in the future. So by having all these different movements that feminists in the past have created for us, or even like the example that I had was like the women's soccer team fighting for equal pay, and as we progress into equality, hopefully we'll see a positive change, but maybe there's actually a negative change also. Have we evolved? Are we able to kind of practice what we preach and saying like we are equal? So can we uphold all these claims that we do? And what does the future hold for us? Like where are we going with fighting for the equal pay, fighting for these different jobs that are usually male dominant and stuff like that? So I did include some of the data. So women actually take up 51% of the population. This is data I got from representwomen.org. But even though we do make up 51% of the population, I kind of put in data on jobs in leadership, like women in leadership. So men take up 73% of Congress. In the US Senate, men take up 75.3%, while women only take up 24.7%. Statewide executive jobs, women only take up 30%, and in the House of Representatives, there's only 27%. And then I also took a look at women versus men-owned businesses. I'm sorry, the pictures at the bottom are blocking. I got this data from ascent.sba.gov. Women only own 45% of the businesses, and this is US-based data. So although that women take up 51% of the population, seeing that all these kind of major leadership jobs are more men dominant is interesting to me. So moving on to my target audience, this project, my target audience would pretty much be anyone that would be willing to take a look at my social media page, gender-wise, it'd be men and women. That's more to inform everybody of the problems that we're facing and hopefully propose a solution. Ages 13 and up is just because you need to be at least 13 years of age to use Instagram. And I want to inspire not only just people that are around my age or like older women, but also our younger generation, because those are going to be the ones who are going to push, which was my like second significance, push us into the future and kind of lead us where we're heading. And then my target audience would be mostly just people in Hawaii, just because I'll be interviewing mostly probably people that are from our islands, and it'll be interesting to see how our close community thinks about what it is to be a girl. My proposed solution is to create awareness and inspire a call to action. So I want to inform people that, again, women are still fighting for equality, even though we've achieved like women's suffrage so long ago. There is still a lot that we need to fight for. I want to inspire a call to action. So that's mostly going to be towards my female audience. I want them to show off how, like, if they have a personal experience with being discriminated against because they were female, or what they did to take a step into fighting for their own equality, whether it was in their workplace or anywhere. And then this proposed solution would be to kind of compare answers to help me on this journey of trying to figure out my research still about the question what it is to be a girl. So I think it would be interesting to interview other people, not just from Hawaii, because we all have different views all over the world. And like if I could interview somebody that's part of like California or another state, I think that'd be interesting to view if there's like different ideas or solutions or definitions of what it is to be a girl other ways. So for my preparation process, my pre-research paper, planning and posting schedule of how I'm going to post, where I'm going to post. I'll be making my interview questions and creating the appointments for my interviews. So I'll be contacting the people that I want to interview. And then I have to create my social media page, which will be my Instagram page. Moving on to production, I have to conduct my interviews and then edit my videos and then hopefully create graphic designs for those quotes and the statistics information for those other posts that I'll be using to fill in with the videos and to also inform my audience. And then lastly, post production would be to post on my Instagram page and then also watch my engagement to kind of see um, what people like to see on my Instagram page. So that way I know like, oh, I need to have more of this. So like if there's comments that people left and they're still like unsure about a topic that I brought up, I can inform them more about that also. For my deliverable, people in our community being informed to inspire empowerment. So, for example, I wanted to maybe do like a couple of smaller social media campaigns. So, my audience or my followers will show me how they empower other women or how they support women and how they support gender equality. Or if they have like a personal story, I want them to share that with me, like either in the comments or if they tag me in a post, either a regular Instagram post or a story post that they saw that kind of reflected what I was trying to achieve with this. I put girl power moment down there as an example, like starting a hashtag, um, maybe starting something on like Wednesdays where we'll talk about women boss Wednesdays. So like this figure has done this. So I could talk about like how the soccer team fought for equal pay or another feminist or even like a community-based feminist that I interviewed and show how she kind of exudes that feminine power and still, if she had struggles being a female in her workplace or in just life in general, she'll share that experiences with us. So this is an Instagram page that I actually follow myself. I liked her layout, and this is kind of what I play on. So she has different types of posts. So she has different media. She has pictures, she has reels, she has regular like Instagram videos. She does have her quotes on there, and she's actually a CEO. She started her own business, and she does touch upon feminine. So in her bio, she says helping women level up. And she also has another Instagram page called CEO School. And I thought it was really interesting because she's also out here using her social media platform to inform girls that she started from the ground up as a female in the workplace, starting her own business. Going back to my statistical data, that um, there's not a lot of women owned businesses, it's mostly male dominant. So this is kind of what I want it to look like. Um, with like there's videos, but there's also like filler posts, and it's not just so just based on my interview videos. So like I also have like the quotes and other stuff just to make it also like aesthetically pleasing, because I know that's a big part of like social media is to make sure that it's pleasing to your audience just at first glance before they even dive into your content. So there's more like she has different quotes, she has pictures with like multiple slides on it, and then she does do a lot of reels, but instead of a reel, I'll just do like a regular interview video for Instagram. And yes, this is my presentation. Thank you all for listening.